Hi and welcome back to the channel and a video I've been so excited to make. Now, when I shoot the content for my videos, I use an array of cameras depending on the need. So right now, I'm using my Lumix DSLR because the picture quality is the best, particularly if I'm stationary and well lit. If I'm outside, I tend to use this, which is my DJI Osmo Pocket 3. And as you can see, it follows me around, which makes it brilliant for shooting outdoors where I'm moving around, say, the car fitting accessories. If I'm outside getting more awkward shots that are quite difficult to position, then I use this, which is my Insta360 X3. You can generally stick that on a windscreen or a bonnet or anywhere, and then you can choose the footage you want afterwards because it shoots in a full 360 spectrum. Sometimes I will use my GoPro because this is very convenient for getting into places that maybe any other camera wouldn't fit, and obviously it's super durable being a GoPro. I even sometimes use my drone when the shots demand that aerial approach. But the challenge I have is more and more of my videos benefit from a point of view aspect, as in being able to see what I can see and still giving me my hands free so I can install something. And the only way to do that is to wear this fetching headgear with your GoPro on. So therefore you have to move your head and it sees what you see. And it serves a purpose, but I like to switch between showing you what I can see and presenting to camera. And it doesn't look great when you've got this thing strapped to your head. But I have a solution now. And this is probably the coolest gadget I've bought so far in 2024, and I cannot wait to tell you more about it. Stay tuned and learn more. Okay, so I'm going to kick things off by explaining exactly what these are. So this is a pair of Ray-Ban Meta Wayfarers. Now Ray-Ban, of course, is the glasses manufacturer you've all heard of. Meta is the company that owns Facebook and Instagram, more on that in a moment. And the Wayfarer is simply the design. There's actually 3 different design shapes available. The Wayfarer is my favorite. So let's crack it open and have a look. So it looks like a normal Ray-Ban case. It isn't. It actually has a little USB-C charging port on the bottom and a little pairing button. And this button, when you open it, actually you can see it's an LED marker just to let you know either the status of the charging of the case or the charging of the glasses. I'll come back to that. So take the cloth out, which is actually Ray-Ban and Meta branded, and then you've got the glasses. Now, the Wayfarer design hasn't changed in decades, and these look just like any other pair of Wayfarers. Thick plastic frames, thick arms, Ray-Ban logo on each of the temples, except there's a couple of differences. First and foremost, on the arms, there's a little capture button just here on the top of just the right arm. And although the left arm has no features and doesn't actually do a great deal, the right arm also has a touch-sensitive area between the logo and where it starts to shape into going around your ear. And that is used for changing the volume, for making calls. I'll come back to that in a minute. Underneath the arms, just there on the underside of each of the arms, is a little speaker, which of course then is directly into your ear because the speaker is here and the ear is of course here. And the other notable difference of course is the front, where instead of normally a little silver pin, you have a camera there and a light sensor and LED ring there. So the camera is about a 12 meg, so it's similar to say an iPhone 11, so shoots good resolution photos and videos. And the light sensor and the ring, the reason that's there is because arguably this could be a fairly intrusive camera, because if I've got these on, most people it wouldn't occur to them that I could take their photograph. So therefore what this does is when I press the capture button on the right here, it takes a photograph, but crucially the LED flashes to let you know I've taken a photograph. Likewise, if I hold my finger on it and take a video, then you see it stays on pulsating. So again, when I'm looking at somebody, they're going to notice it, and so therefore they're going to question what I'm doing. And they should, quite frankly, because if I haven't told them I'm filming them, then there's every reason that they might ask why that light is flashing at them. But the reason why it's a light sensor on the right is because that very reason, to make sure that people aren't uncomfortable. When you go to take a photograph, the camera checks the light levels of the environment in front of you, and the sensor on the right does the same thing. Now, if they don't match, it won't let you take the photograph. So, for example, if I try and cover that when I'm taking a photograph so people can't see it flash, it won't let the camera work because the light sensor is telling the camera something's not right, I'm being covered. Which I think is a really clever feature, I must admit. So that's the hardware itself. What it can do, we'll come on to in a moment. The last thing before I do is, of course, the lenses. These are the standard clear lenses that Ray-Ban ship the cheapest pair with, and I'll talk about price a bit later. They've got a little bit of a kind of bluey purple tinge to them, which reduces blue light when you're using a monitor. So they are largely clear, but actually I find them incredibly reflective, not just externally while I'm shooting, but internally I can see reflections of my own eyes. So I actually find those lenses quite unpleasant. I don't like them. But for an extra couple of quid, you can get shaded versions, polarized versions, so they're just tinted permanently. I'm not sure why you would, if I'm honest, because that means you're only ever going to use the glasses outside, because let's face it, wearing shades inside makes you look like a bit of a fool. The pair I would suggest you consider if you don't need a prescription lens, and I'll come back to that in a minute, is the Transition lenses. Transition being a company who make lenses that go from clear to tinted based on UV light exposure. So you can buy these with some transition lenses in that are clear inside, and when you go outside they become sunglasses. When you come back inside they go clear again. They're brilliant. I tried them for about 4 days, and those are the lenses to go for if you don't need a prescription. If you do need a prescription, then Ray-Ban will create the lenses specifically for you, or you can use third-party companies such as Lensology, who I've ordered some lenses off and I will tell you more about on a future video. So let's start with the camera. So as I said, you can take photographs. Now the only downside is because it's Meta and therefore the format they're intending the glasses for is Instagram and Facebook, they shoot in portrait. Now I don't have a problem with that. It's not ideal as a YouTube content creator because obviously YouTube, as you can see, is in landscape. But what I've done when I've used these glasses on my last few Tesla accessory videos is I zoom out, I replicate the image, which is in portrait, zoom out and blur it. And so you end up with a widescreen image, but only the middle third is actually useful. You'll see it in my other videos, or I can show you for the effect now. If I shoot a video now, so you can see now what I can see, but I've added this blur on either side just so it doesn't look so odd in a landscape format. Now, so that could be a problem for some people, but at the end of the day, these are designed to be able to take a shot and immediately post it on Instagram. So the landscape thing doesn't really fit for that. Maybe a future version will have the option, that would be great, but for now, it's portrait. But I said, it can also shoot videos. Now, it used to be you could only shoot up to a minute, but now you can shoot up to a 3-minute video continuously. Now, you might think, why? Apart from the fact that actually, it's cool to capture moments, in actuality, the big opportunity there is to capture those experiences that you might otherwise just be staring at your phone at instead of actually enjoying firsthand. Give me an example. When you go to a concert, now I've stood at concerts before and I'll watch all the people around me like this. And they're shooting the live event. It's right in front of them. Massive live event, probably never going to see it again, right there. And they spend the whole time looking at this tiny screen, making sure they've framed it right to capture it, so that when they go home, they can watch it again on the tiny screen. That to me seems like a wasted opportunity. Whereas with these, I can put these on, watch the experience live, and be shooting it so I can watch it later on my small screen if I want to. Or I can even stream it live. In addition to those 3-minute videos, you can also have it streaming directly to Instagram or Facebook continuously for 30 minutes. So if you're doing a live broadcast to your followers or your friends, these are the ultimate tool. And that could be a concert, or it could be a roller coaster. When you get on a roller coaster, you could start a live stream, put the glasses on, and then whoever's watching gets to experience the roller coaster with you. But it's not just live streaming, and it's not just videos. You can also make video calls with it. So when you're on a messenger call or a WhatsApp call, during the call, you would normally have, of course, your front camera facing you, and that's what the person you're talking to would see. During the call, if I double tap the capture, it transfers the video feed on the call from that camera to that camera. So I'm on a call with somebody and they can see what I can see. And again, fantastic for experiences, whether it's a concert, roller coaster, anything, a wedding, could be anything. But I love the versatility of that. So that's the camera. But then you've got the audio. So these speakers that point into your ears, one, they're really, really good. The sound quality is exceptional, but it means you can use that to listen to music. Now, on the Meta apps, which you have to install to pair with the glasses, so it's whether it's an Android or iOS, you install the app first, and then you've got all these various settings, which I'll touch on throughout the video. But they work as headphones. So instead of putting AirPods in, which block your ability to hear everything around you, you can wear these and listen to music directly played into your ear, and it doesn't interrupt your ability to be able to hear what's happening around you. Brilliant if you're walking on the streets, maybe there could be cars nearby or cyclists. Brilliant if you're out on a bike and you need to be able to hear what's going on around you, but you maybe want to capture a moment while you're riding your bike, or just listen to music. The versatility there is superb. But the speaker quality is actually exceptionally good. I can't do you a demo, of course, because that would just trigger a copyright, in which case you wouldn't be able to listen to it anyway on this final video. But rest assured, it's very good. And you can pair by the app with either Spotify, Apple Music, or Amazon Music. And I programmed it that if I just tap the side, it will play whatever I was previously playing, whatever music's playing on my phone. Or if I hold my finger on there for about a second, then it opens Spotify and plays a playlist based on my musical tastes. So at any point, I can hold my finger on there and it will play music that presumably I will like. And I think that's amazing. Now, of course, this is a speaker. This isn't a precipitable bone conductor at the back. It's not going straight into my skull. It's playing there. Which means if you're sat on a bus or a train right next to somebody, they are going to hear that like when you sat next to somebody who's got terrible, terrible headphones on. That is the noise they're going to hear because it is projecting it. But if you're out and about, said walking, riding your bike, or just sitting at your desk at home, or just cooking or doing anything, then the music sound quality is exceptional. It's really, really good. And actually, if you don't want other people to hear, if you've got a hood, if you put it up, it makes the music much louder for a start. But secondly, as I said, it maybe protects the people around you from being able to hear your music. But aside from music, it's a hands-free kit. So when you pair it with the Meta app, it becomes the hands-free kit for your phone. So it means that you can make phone calls, and there are microphones all over these things. There's actually 5. There's one just under the bridge of the nose there, next to the charging points. I don't know if you can see those. If I use the GoPro again and just highlight, you've got the charging points are down there, those 2 metal pins, and the microphone is just above it here. That's one of the microphones. You've actually got another microphone in the R. So within the Ray-Ban logo, you can see on each of the temples, in the R, the circle of the R, there's a dot in each one, there's a microphone there. And on the underside of each arm, there's another dot and there's another microphone there. So there's 5 microphones picking up your voice straight down, and from the ambient. So therefore, if you're capturing video, you're not just capturing you, you are capturing what's going on around you. So the microphone layout is brilliant. But it means the hands-free kit, it's excellent. It's playing directly into your ear. There's lots of microphones picking you up. People on the other end of the call, having tried it, have no idea that you're talking to them on a pair of glasses. The only thing you need to be conscious of is when you're walking down the street, and I was in a supermarket the other day on a call, when people glance at you, they kind of give you a second glance because they can see that you're talking, but you've got no phone in your hand and there's nothing in your ear, so it looks a little odd. It doesn't matter at the end of the day, but just be conscious that you look a little unusual with it. So I've talked about the camera, I've talked about the sound, I've talked about the fact that you can make video calls and you can stream your video via Facebook and Instagram. You can even, by the way, just ask the glasses to take a photo and post on Instagram or Facebook without you touching your phone, which are cool features, that's the kind of thing you like doing. But there's one huge part of these glasses that I haven't touched on, and it's arguably the most exciting, and that is the AI inclusion, because these things are really clever. Now, I've got a second microphone here, so you'll be able to hear what the glasses can do. So when I first put them on, they make a little noise just to let me know that I'm wearing them, because they have a little sensor, I think it's in the back right of the arm, that they know that you're wearing them, because it pauses the music when you take them off, and a lot of the functionality stops when you take them off, which will save battery, of course. But it means that you can ask it, the AI element, that there are trigger words, which I'll use in a moment, and then you can ask it an array of basic questions. So for example, hey Meta, what time is it?
It's 8:27 a.m.
There you go, so it's 8:27 a.m. So as a result of wearing these glasses, you don't need to wear a watch. You can ask the time at any point and your glasses will tell you what time it is. That could be a big deal for people, particularly if you're out doing sporting things and you don't want to wear a watch. If you've got the glasses on and they're pretty snug, so they're not coming off, it means you can just ask the time. Simple thing. But then you can move into more interesting equations. Now, it's sometimes a bit hit and miss on location, so let's try this. Hey Meta, what's the weather like today?
In Preston, England, today, it will be mostly cloudy with a high of 63 Fahrenheit and a low of 55 Fahrenheit.
How cool is that? So you can ask it the weather at any point. Admittedly, Fahrenheit means nothing to me in Britain, but I'll change that to centigrade on the settings. But the point is, you can ask the weather. But then you can ask more interesting general knowledge things, like, for example, hey Meta, what's the tallest building in the United States?
The tallest building in the United States is One World Trade Center in New York City, with a height of 1,792 feet.
When was it built?
The One World Trade Center was completed in 2013, with its spire being raised on May 14, 2013.
Cancel. Now I say cancel at the end there because you'll have noticed from me asking the initial question and getting an answer, it takes a second to think about it sometimes, but it gives you an answer. You can then ask a follow-up question without having to say the activation words, which I just did there. I added cancel on the end because it was still listening for any additional questions. You can turn that off in the settings, but it's quite a cool feature to be able to just trigger it once and just keep asking questions until you got all the information you want. Okay, so that's cool. So great for general knowledge. Or if you are calculating something, you need a quick answer. Hey, Meta, what's the square root of 694?
The square root of 694 is approximately 26.34.
So yeah, so great for general knowledge things, asking calculations, the weather, the time, or even just, hey Meta, how's your battery doing?
Battery 100%.
Happy days, battery's at 100%. I'll touch on that now actually just quickly. How long does the battery last? So Ray-Ban quote that the battery lasts about 4 hours. Now what I found in my experience is that 4 hours is if you're listening to music pretty much the entire time, taking photos periodically. And imagine if you're shooting videos, that will come down from 4 hours quite quickly because that's going to use loads of processing power. But if you actually don't listen to music and you just maybe take the odd phone call and maybe take the odd photograph, that 4 hours can very easily become 6 hours. If you turn off the activation, because it's always listening for me to say those words, which you've heard me say, you can go into the actual settings, turn that off so it stops listening, and then you trigger the AI by putting 3 fingers on the touch sensitive panel. Then when it stops listening, that increases the battery life again. And I think you're probably good for an easy 8 hours. But then when they are running low, you put them back in the case. Now inside the case, and I'll use the GoPro for this, you have this unit here. So this part is a battery. And that's good for charging these glasses 8 times. So there's quite a lot of charge in there. And you charge them simply by putting the glasses in the case and these little metal contacts here touch the little metal pins on the inside of the bridge of the nose. And that's it. And you can put them in for about half an hour and it takes much about 70-80% battery. So it doesn't take very long and it's probably good to rest your eyes periodically anyway. So I quite like the battery thing. I'm not concerned about it at all. But yeah, that aside, when you've got the AI, the other functionality, and this is where I'm going to use props in this video just to highlight the incredible functionality. So let's start with this. Now I've got a couple of pieces of paper here. The first one is a menu that I downloaded off the internet last night. So the menu you're looking at is from a restaurant called The Good Old Days based in Lanzarote. And as you can see, the whole thing is written in Spanish. And I've chosen it because I want to illustrate just how good these glasses are at translating via obviously the AI functionality. Now you can do it verbally. So before I look at the menu, I can say, for example, hey Meta, how do I say, do you speak English in Italian?
To ask if someone speaks English in Italian, you can say parla inglese. If they respond with sì, parlo inglese, then you're good to go. If not, you could try asking where an English speaker is or using a translation app on your phone.
There you go. So you can translate into loads of different languages. So if that's playing on your ear, you could then say it out loud. Arguably, I think you haven't tried it, you could probably ask the glasses to listen while somebody speaks to you and translate it into English, because it makes sense it would go both ways. But using the menu to give you a visual demonstration, I'll show you exactly what these things are capable of. So first and foremost, let's say you come across this restaurant and you want to know the kind of food they do, you can do this. Hey Meta, look and tell me about this restaurant.
The Good Old Days is a restaurant that offers various menu options, including appetizers, main courses, and desserts. They also have live music every night.
So the fact that it can summarize the entire menu, even picking out that there's live music, is remarkable. But you can even pick out individual items just by pointing at them and then asking the the glasses to look and translate that specific dish, which is really clever. But the summarising bit is something I want to pick up on, because my second printout is a random letter that came out from a council here in the UK. Now, this is particularly relevant because if you're somebody who maybe struggles to read and retain information, for example, if you're dyslexic, I have a member of my family who's dyslexic and she really struggles to be able to read and retain because, I don't know if you're familiar with it, but dyslexia almost makes the letters look like they're moving around. So it's really difficult to then keep reading. You end up having to reread the same part so you don't retain the information so well. So what these glasses allow you to do is let's say this letter arrived through your post and you wanted to summarize it and wonder what it means, that you can do it like this. Hey Meta, look at this letter and summarize it. The letter's there.
The Bath and Northeast Somerset Council is closing a section of Charlton Road in Keynsham for 1 week starting July 10th, 2024. The closure will allow Bristol Water to repair a burst water main. An alternative route has been designated using St. Ludoc's Road and A4175 Bristol Road/High Street. Access will be maintained for residents and businesses during works.
Now that's incredible. And think about it. I mean, yes, all right, you can see the novel value in these glasses, but genuinely, as a hands-free kit, superb. As a camera to capture moments, brilliant. The AI thing to replace your watch and find out about weather and find out about just general facts, amazing. But when you start to look at it from this point of view, then it becomes a genuinely practical game changer. I think these things are remarkable. The fact you throw in that they've got proper prescription lenses in, or at least they can have, and then you're every day wearing this incredible additional resource to make your life easier. I just think they're incredible. But there are more novelty factors, by the way, and I'm going to bring in my next prop. So this is a plant, and I'm going to ask the glasses what it is. Hey Meta, look and tell me what type of plant this is.
This is a peace lily, Spathiphyllum wallacei.
How often should I water it?
Water your peace lily when the top inch of soil feels dry to the touch, usually once a week.
Now the very last thing to touch on is, of course, price. So this is the base model pair. So this you can get in either matte black or shiny black. There are other colours available, but predominantly shiny black or matte black. And these are the basic lenses, which, as I mentioned earlier, are clear with a little bit of a tint, and these retail for £299. Now they'll be slightly different in America if you're watching from the States. Please go on rayban.com and have a look. But $299 in the UK gets you the clear lenses. Now, if you go for the version that have got tinted lenses and they're polarized, which is great, they're $329, so not much more. As I mentioned earlier, I'm not sure why you choose them, because that means you could only ever wear the glasses outside without looking like a fool. But the ones to go for, as I mentioned earlier, are the transition lenses. Now, to buy a pair with those lenses is £379. Now, bear in mind, I priced up a fair pair of just regular Wayfarer frames, so non-Meta, just normal plastic frames, with temporary lenses in, ready for you to put prescription lenses in, and they were £155. Or you could buy them with slightly tinted lenses, and they were about £200. Which means the technology that they've put into these glasses, they're charging about anywhere between 130 and 150-ish pounds for. It's just so much value for that extra little bit on top of buying your normal frames. Now, if you're a glasses wearer, I imagine you're probably used to paying probably £200 or £300 for your frames anyway. So why wouldn't you get these? So in conclusion, are these things worth having? Would your everyday person benefit from having them? Honestly, I think these glasses are remarkable. And if you wear glasses, then you should definitely consider them. Apart from anything else, I think they're really good looking. It's a classic look. The Wayfarers are fab looking glasses. The technology it brings is just remarkable, to never miss a moment, to have that extra help in summarizing signs or letters or menus, to translate, to be able to do maths quickly, to check the time, to check the weather. You could probably, over time, because it will improve, you'll be able to check whether or not your train's on time. All these things that are so useful that you currently have to go through various apps on your phone, you can just ask. And bear in mind, the things it can't do, it's a hands-free kit, so you can just say Siri and make a request, and the answer is going to come through your glasses as well, because it's still playing you all the audio from your phone. There just isn't a downside to these things. Anyway, clearly I love them. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video and found this educational, useful, insightful. Perhaps you want a pair. Completely up to you. I think they're fantastic. If you did like the video, please give it a like below. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, then thanks so much for watching today. Why don't you click subscribe, see more videos like this where I'll be reviewing an array of things, and even if you hit that little bell icon, then you'll get notified every time a video comes out. And if you want to watch it, great. If you don't, not a problem at all. Just wait for the next one. But either way, thanks so much for watching, and particularly for staying with me this long. All the details about the product are in the description, and I really look forward to seeing you on the next video. But here's a photo just to say goodbye.